Huh?
Isn't line like little village?
The acoustics here are so terrible. I hear sound, but I don't hear words.
Isn't line little?
Is Lime little? No.
Yeah,
No. Klein.
Fine.
Klein is little, like Klein's ice cream. Klein's natural nuts. Sometimes in our class we have some natural nuts. Okay. I'm the biggest natural nut. That's why I sit up here. All right. So the mothers have children. The children are your feelings. Thoughts generate feelings. Feelings motivate you to do things. You don't do anything without feelings. So therefore, your feelings are called your midas because they are the measure. A midah is a measure. They are the measure of your character, who you are. And how do they measure who you are? By what you do, what you say, what you think, how you interact with other people, the things that you create. These measure your character. All right? The intellects, page 67 at the bottom, are Chabad. That's Chochmah, is inspiration. And Bina is development. Women have this capacity to develop things, even physically, not just spiritually, but even it's reflected physically that women carry a child and the child develops inside the mother. That's development. That's an amazing development. And then there's Das. Das is connected with this part of the brain, the left part of the brain, the back of the brain, the back. And that is appropriate that it's in the back because that connects the ideas from the front with the heart, which is below. If you see a pair of tefillin, the tefillin, you have a strap that goes through the tefillin and comes back. It's knotted in the back, and the knot sits right there in the nape of the neck. And then it divides in two, and the two straps come down your sides, one on the right side and one on the left side, standing for the two major midos of the 7 days of creation. The first is the love of an idea, and the second is the idea of the limitations of an idea. Right and left, good cop, bad cop. You know, that's how they work. The good cop is very friendly and nice and makes the guy feel relaxed, open up, spill the beans. And the bad cop threatens him, makes him aware this is serious, you know. So that's the two sides come down from the back of the neck. So the das is right there because that connects the thoughts from the front of your brain, goes down the spinal cord physically into your heart. And in your heart, you have two sides, the right side and the left side also. The right side is I love it, and the left side is be careful. All right? So it says here on the bottom of page 67, love of God and dread and awe. What's the difference between dread and awe? Dread is when you're driving down the highway and you hit about 80, this clear open road, and the car just sort of speeds up, going 80, and all of a sudden you're woo, woo, oh my, uh-oh. That's dread. That's dread, anxiety and dread. I'm afraid I don't want to get it. I don't want to bring punishment. But awe is much greater than that. Awe is when you go to Niagara Falls and you see the water pouring over the edge, you say, oh my. You're not afraid. You're just overawed by the power, by the majesty. You look up in the sky and you see the beauty of Hashem's creation. It's awesome. Awesome. That's awe. That's a higher level. It's a lower level love and a higher level love, a lower level of fear, which is called dread, connected with anxiety and fear of punishment. Very low level. We do things, we don't go through the red light because we could cause an accident. We don't want to do that. We don't want to get a ticket. We don't want to lose our license. When I was a teenager, I had an English teacher who made us all go to court one day and then write a report about our visit in the court. And there was a trial taking place. The person on trial was a salesman, traveling salesman. He'd been driving drunk, and he had an accident and someone got killed. That's called manslaughter. He didn't mean to kill anybody, but that didn't bring them back to life. And his punishment was the judge took away his driver's license for some 15 or 20 years, something like that. And he's a traveling salesman, so it was like very pertinent to his livelihood. So that's a lower level fear, is fear of punishment. The higher level fear is awe, a feeling of awe before the majesty of a great king. Page 68, continuing. We've covered this, we said it again, here's the English, right? Chabad are called mothers, they are the source of the middays, and the middays are called children. Okay, 69, now we're going to go through this in detail. Bi'arayin, the explanation of this is, now there's a term you got to get to know. Seichel means intellect. It's used in common language it became a Yiddish word as well. Seichel is intellect. This person has no seichel, a foolish person. Says foolish things, does foolish things, doesn't think before he does things, right? So the seichel in the nefesh. Now we said in chapter 1 that there's two aspects to the soul: the godly soul and the animal soul, which is also called the natural soul or the human soul, selfish soul, self-centered soul. The godly soul is godly centered. The godly soul wants to be connected to God, wants to do things that God would do if he were you, if he were a human being. And we know what he would do because the Torah tells us about a lot of things that God does. We learn a lot of things from what the Torah tells us about God, what God does. Like, for instance, when Avram had a bris, so God came to visit him. We learn from this, it's a mitzvah to visit the sick person. Takes away part of their sickness. God is very kind. He gives everybody in the whole world food. It's a pretty big order. Could you do that? Everybody in the whole world, all the growing things, all the animals, every blade of grass. The Baal Shem Tov taught his Talmidim things like that. Took them for a walk. They saw a leaf blow off a tree. This time of year, a leaf blew off a tree. They fell to the earth. And as they were watching, a worm came out and crawled up onto this leaf. So the Baal Shem Tov said, you see, Hashem made this wind to blow so that the worm should have its supper. Nothing's by accident. Everything has a purpose. Everything is being controlled from above. I'll say a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol nהיה bidvareinu.
Amen.
Milk. When I was a little boy, I had milk every morning for breakfast. I had to grow up to learn to drink coffee. The first level of the intellect, what does it say here? The intellect is Oh yeah, I said there's two souls. Now the Alter Rebbe introduces a new concept that you also have an in-between soul between the godly soul and the animal soul. There is an intellectual soul. That's where the intellect thrives. So we're going to say love and fear thrive in your heart. That's where they belong. And wisdom and understanding and knowledge are in the brain. The spiritual vessel for them is called your intellectual soul. Nefesh, the word for nefesh means a soul. Hasichlis, the root of the word sichlis is seichel. I'll write that on the board. Let's see if this writes. Yeah, okay. Seichel is intellect. Nefesh means your soul, that lowest level of the soul that connects with your body. And then nefesh ha-sichlis means the intellectual soul. Nefesh ha-sichlis means nefesh of the soul. The nefesh is the soul, ha-sichlis of the intellect. So now we have a new term to become familiar with. Now let's go back. Page 69. Okay. Kihine haseichel. So the seichel is the concept of the intellect, right? General term for intellect. Sheba nefesh hasichlis. Where is it? It's in the nefesh hasichlis. So there's a level of the nefesh that is home. Should we put it that way? Home to the intellect. It's like an aquarium. You have to have a physical vessel to hold the water to put the fish. So you have seichel. Where does the seichel belong? Well, the seichel works in your brain. That's where the brain does the job. But what gives the brain energy? There's a nefesh, special nefesh for the brain called the nefesh hasichlis. What does it do? Shahu hamaskil kol davar. So here we see the word seichel again, and the word with a mem at the beginning means this is the active force of intellect. Hamaskil. Word maskil means it thinks. So this is the nefesh hasichlis is the thinking aspect of the nefesh. You may wonder, what is this? What's going on here? These abstract terms. I'm not familiar with them. That's right, we're not familiar with them. Lashon HaKodesh, Hebrew, the holy language, is very sensitive to these ideas because they're connected with higher spiritual sensitivity. And as you learn Hasidus, you'll see that it's very subtle in description of the workings of the mind and the workings of the feelings. So we get these distinctions to help us to understand what's going on. Okay, so when it's working, when the nefesh hasichlis is working in the brain, so the first level that it works on, next Hebrew lines, is nikra b'shem chachma, which it's called chachma. Chachma we translate into English as wisdom. What is wisdom? I don't know, I'm making this up now. Maybe it's the kingdom of the wise. Wisdom is the root of the word is wise. The root of the word wisdom is wise. And dom is like a kingdom, a place. So it's a place of the one. That's where your wise factors kick in. So this is called chokhmah. Now he gives a better definition from it from the Hebrew, that the word chokhmah is actually made up of two words. Spell it right? Yes. I should have made it bigger. Chokhmah. Okay, we got it here. So this word chokhmah means wisdom. And this is the level of the lightning flash of inspiration. It's called chokhmah. Oh, what a chokhmah, what a great idea. Says the Tanya here, chokhmah is actually two words. And we'll take these two letters and reverse them, and we get another word, which is koach. Koach means a power. You have a power to think, you have a power to talk, you have a power to eat, you have a power to move, you have a power to see, you have a, that's why people have problems with their eyes, or they lose an eye. There's an eye bank. You can get an eye from somebody else, and they'll put it in there, and you'll be able to see, because the power to see is an infinite power. It's a soul power. And the eye is just a vessel through which you can see, which the power works. Okay, so koyach means a power. And ma, remember we said ma is a question word? Question words tell us about things that we don't know. But that's actually a positive statement. It's like we talk about negative space and positive space. You have a letter. The letter looks like this. And then we have to have a surrounding, a framework for the letter. So I've got the letter here. The letter is negative space. It is positive space, and the surrounding is negative space. So in the Sefer Torah, every letter in the Sefer Torah has to be surrounded by white. If two letters touch, can't use the whole Sefer Torah, is no good. Every letter has to have its independent space. And this is what it said. We said this before, there's a repetition, that when Hashem gave us the Torah, it says it's a fire, he says it's a fiery law he gave to us. That's in Deuteronomy. At the end of Deuteronomy, before Rosh Hashanah, we read it. Hashem gave us a fiery law. And the sages explain, yes, it's a law, it's his law. It's a law of life. It contains life within it. But it's fire. What do you mean fire? Well, fire has different levels. Black fire on white fire. So what was the Torah before it was given in this world? We get the Torah ink on parchment. Before the world was created, there was no ink, there was no parchment. What was the Torah? It says Hashem looked in the Torah and followed it as a blueprint to create the world. What was the Torah before? There was no world. There were no birds. You write a Torah with a feather of a bird. You make ink from berries that grow in the woods. We write on the skin of a lamb. Parchment. What was the Torah? Where did Hashem look? What did he look? So the sages, the oral tradition, which was conveyed to them at Mount Sinai, that the Torah that Hashem wrote in heaven, he wrote with a fiery quill, black fire on white fire. Not black ink on parchment, black fire on white fire. This inspired a Jewish artist from New York called Barnett Newman. You can see his work in the Museum of Modern Art. He blew his mind, black fire on white fire. Okay, so this is the idea of ma. What is ma? Ma, we said it last week. What is ma? Ma is the word what. You want to know what it is? Everything. You want to know what it is. What does it constitute? It is what is the whatness of the thing is what makes it what it is. We don't know, so it's a question. Question words tell us about what we don't know. So Chachma, the flash of inspiration, is an inspiration that we don't even know what it is. But we know it's an inspiration because the light bulb went off in our brain. And then you went to take a look at it and it's gone. It's already faded. Okay, so that's the inspiration. That's Chachma on the right side of the brain. Bottom, page 69. Now, when you take this inspiration, which is a potential, see the word there in the last word, the middle word, and the first of the last three lines. When he brings out this koach, the word koach, right? He brings out this koach, this potential, this power. He brings it out and he wants to analyze it. How do you analyze a thing? Well, you have to say, what are its different characteristics? What, again, are its characteristics? What does it look like? Does it have a color? What does it compare to? What is its dimension? How long does it last? What's the gestation period? How long does it take for an animal to have a baby? 5 months, 7 months, 7 years. Snake takes 7 years, I think, something like that. So when we take this inspiration, we try and analyze its details. What are its parts? What are its characteristics? That's called Bina. Maybe some of you girls know how to have a friend named Bina. I have a granddaughter named Bina. Bina means understanding. Bina means, the root of the word Bina means to build. A building is called a binyan. And a child is called a ben. Ben. This is the building a structure. Is a binyan. So the left side of the brain is the analytical side of the brain that builds the structure, gives a structure to the idea. The idea on its own has no structure. It's just an inspiration. So we have to take it to the next step, which is let's analyze. Let's see what it is. That's Bina. Women are given an extra portion of Bina. That's what it says. Nitna leisha Bina yesera. Women are given an extra portion of Bina. Because their role in life is to develop things. The husband goes out and works, comes home with money. Nobody can eat money. Someone's got to do the shopping. Maybe he'll do the shopping. Maybe get someone else to do the shopping. But she is going to make the meal. And she is going to raise the children. And she is going to decide how the house should be decorated and what's the color scheme and everything. It's a joke, you know. But my wife and I, we take care of all the ideas. I decide who's going to run for president and where we're going to, what's the economic policy going to be between the nations and so on and on. The big ideas. My wife takes care of the little things like the soup and the chicken and the gefilte fish and the furniture and the things that we live with. She has this capability. And when the roles are switched, it's not always successful. But the roles can be switched because we live in a harmonious world. So while men generally are the inspirational factor and women are the developmental factor, men can develop an idea. And some men have this capacity more than others. And women can come up with great ideas and have great inspiration. But that's more of an exception than a rule. In general, the male side is the initiator, female side is the developer. I'll just leave you with one thought. What gives the male side the ability to come up with a new idea? And that is something very, very deep that's being subtly broadcast by Bina. Since the power of Bina is to develop, it's thirsting to develop things, and that inspires the male factor to come up with things worthy of being developed. So that's why it says, a woman of valor is a crown to her husband. Because the crown is higher than the head. The crown inspires the brain. Where does the crown get its inspiration from? From the unspoken desires of the wife to have a family. Wife wants to have a family, and so the husband decides he wants to get married. Have a family. Where'd that come from? It came from his wife. She didn't have to say it. A woman who says it is considered immodest. There we go. I gotta go because we have to daven in a quorum. We'll continue with this. One last thought is that the back of the neck is how you bring it all down into reality. If you don't have that connection, just got a lot of ideas that don't go anywhere.
Toda Rabba. Thank you, Rabbi Pape.
Oh, Mrs. Simcha, thank you for joining. It's a lovely day, a beautiful day. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
A nice day. Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem is right. Hashem should watch over us and protect our people. Every one of them.
Yes.
Have a whole siddur on the telephone.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Have a nice
I'm
day.
so glad to hear that you had a great weekend. Great chums.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Hello. Did you have fun, girls? Can't hear anyone.
Hi, Singha.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Is
Thanks for
everyone
asking.
tired from the weekend?
Yeah, we are waiting for
Well,
the other class.
huh?
We are waiting for the next class.
Did they go to the second room or stay in this one?
I think you stay here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.